Now that Super Bowl 56 is over and the Los Angeles Rams are the champions, we can forget about the unpredictable 2021 season and look forward to 2022. And what better way to do that than with these NFL power rankings that come out way too early? Stick with me until the end of the video and let us watch all the power rankings for 2022-2023 season way too early. Before tuning in, we would love it if you would click the like button, subscribe to our channel, and tap the notification bell for more updates and videos like this. Most of the NFL offseason is already over, though free agency and the draft teams have added a lot of new talent and lost some. There is still time to make small changes to rosters, but the biggest ones have been made, so we now know which NFL teams are contenders and which are pretenders for the 2022 season. So, with that in mind, here's a ranking of every NFL team as we get ready for the season. Eyes on the playoffs. Indianapolis Colts. The Colts were in a tough spot after a failed experiment with Carson Wentz last season. Still, they improved at quarterback this offseason without having to pay a huge price. Matt Ryan may not be as good as he used to be, but he still had a better PFF grade than Wentz last season and plays best in a dome. The only thing stopping the Colts from making the playoffs last year was if Wentz had a bad game. They should have the playoffs in their sights again this year. Arizona Cardinals. Even though the Cardinals made a big move during the offseason, they may have lost ground due to their competitors. Marquise Brown was traded for their first-round pick. Still, he can't help the team's offense until DeAndre Hopkins' 6-game suspension is over, and Brown has taken over as team's #1 receiver. Christian Kirk and Chandler Jones, who played important roles, also left the team. Arizona's success depends on whether it can find a way to keep getting worse as the season goes on. Philadelphia Eagles. I don't think any team had a better offseason than the Eagles when everything is considered. By trading for A.J. Brown, they get the #1 receiver they were looking for, and Devonta Smith can focus on what he does best as the #2 receiver. The defensive front was getting weaker, so adding Hassan Reddick and Jordan Davis helps. Getting James Bradbury late in the day was a smart move that could make a big difference. Nakobe Dean, a linebacker from Georgia, could also be one of the best bargains of the draft if he plays as well in the NFL as he did in college. Dallas Cowboys. Every problem Dallas had during the offseason seemed to catch the team by surprise. The team got mad that Amari Cooper wasn't giving them the kind of value that his contract said he would. Cedric Wilson also left when Wilson was able to do so. They thought they had re-signed Randy Gregory, but he was unhappy with a part of his contract, so he took the same offer from Denver. This left Dallas scrambling to find a replacement. This team probably just stood still while other teams got better during the offseason, but they are still a good team. It could be their year. Baltimore Ravens. Few teams had as many injuries as the Ravens did last season. Because of this, they went from being a top team in the AFC to not making the playoffs by the end of the year. Just getting healthy again makes the Ravens a real playoff team, and when they play well, they can make any other team in the league nervous. Cleveland Browns. So much of Cleveland's success depends on Deshaun Watson's availability, which is still up in the air as the NFL works toward the end of its investigation into his sexual assault allegations. The Browns should make the playoffs even without Watson. Last season, they were close to making it, even though Baker Mayfield played from week 2 on with a badly hurt shoulder. If Mayfield is healthy this season, the floor goes up a lot. And if Watson is healthy for the whole season, they could be real contenders. San Francisco 49ers. The 49ers are one of the few teams with a real chance of winning a championship without any elite quarterback. Their offense, run by Kyle Shanahan, and the playmakers on it give them the power to do so. Jimmy Garoppolo is still on the team and could be the starting quarterback again this season. When he is healthy, his play is good enough for his team to win, and Trey Lance may be more of a backup plan in case Garoppolo gets hurt than the 2022 starter. Cincinnati Bengals. Even though the Bengals came close to winning the Super Bowl last year, they were ranked so low because it was agreed that they had done too well. They were the #4 seed in the AFC before their playoff run. Even though they've done a great job of fixing the weak spots on their team this offseason, it doesn't look like they'll be able to pull off a similar result again this season. Cincinnati has the firepower to compete if things go their way. Still, it doesn't have the overwhelming roster strength of some other teams. Denver Broncos. When Denver traded for Russell Wilson, they got their first real championship caliber quarterback since Peyton Manning. This made them a contender. Now, Denver has to come up with an offense that gets the most out of Wilson and doesn't have the same problems as the Seattle Seahawks. Can Wilson be let loose to be the best version of himself without giving up too many short, easy passes to make the offense one of the best in the league? Green Bay Packers. Even though the Packers are always running when Aaron Rodgers is at quarterback, they have had trouble with the best teams late in the playoffs, and that was the best receiver in the game, Davante Adams, on the team. The Packers lost Adams this offseason and replaced him with Sammy Watkins and 2 rookie receivers, Christian Watson and Romeo Doubs. They were the 7th and 19th receivers chosen respectively. To the Packers' credit, their defense may be better than it has been in years, and they are getting players like David Bakhtiari back. Still, the receiving core could be a fatal problem. True contenders. Los Angeles Chargers. Few teams were as aggressive this offseason as the Chargers. They seemed determined to use quarterback Justin Herbert's talent to their advantage. Herbert's second season was even better than his first, so the Chargers spent a lot of money to put talented people around him. Adding Khalil Mack should make things better up front, and aiding J.C. Jackson to a secondary with a lot of ball skills should make things even better. By drafting Zion Johnson, the line in front of Herbert should stay strong. Kansas City Chiefs. The other contenders in the NFL were all trying to get better weapons, so the Chiefs decided to trade away Tyreek Hill, one of the league's best players. They don't want to replace him with just any one player, but with Marquise Valdes-Scantling, Juju Smith-Schuster, and Sky Moore. This may be the best thing for the Chiefs' long-term cap health, but it's hard to argue that they won't take a small step back at first. Still, as long as Patrick Mahomes is the quarterback, the Chiefs will be in the running for a championship. Los Angeles Rams. The team that just won the Super Bowl is already being mistreated. Before we get too excited, we should remember that the Rams were number 4 seed last year, and that Matthew Stafford had to improve from an 80.7 PFF grade during the regular season to an 89.5 grade in the playoffs to go on the run they did. The Rams also lost key players like Robert Woods, Odell Beckham Jr., Sebastian Joseph Day, and Von Miller, who now play for other teams. The Rams added Allen Robinson and Bobby Wagner to help make up for those losses. Still, it's likely that, at best, they've taken a step in the same direction in an offseason when many contenders got better. Buffalo Bills. It's hard to think of a better team in football than the Bills. They didn't even make it to the AFC Championship last season, but with 13 seconds left in the game against the Kansas City Chiefs and some bad defense, they could have. Josh Allen's big year wasn't a fluke, and the Bills have been able to add players like Von Miller to try to push them over the top. Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Until we see real proof that Tom Brady is getting worse, we have to assume that he will continue to be one of the best quarterbacks in the game. This makes the Bucs a strong contender every year he's in charge. Brady's decision to come out of retirement made it possible for several other players who were set to become free agents to return. The team used the draft to fill in any gaps that did appear. Adding a receiver like Atlanta's Russell Gage, who averaged 1.96 yards per route run last season, could have a big effect on the offense. The National Football League is very proud that every team has a chance to make it to the playoffs and win the Super Bowl every year. It's a new thought. Even though it's hard for any league to be perfectly balanced, the NFL has done a pretty good job in making sure that no one team dominates the league. So, what do you think? Do these teams deserve the rankings? Let me know your thoughts and comment down below.